I want to introduce you to Isaiah Thomas. Right? If you're a sports fan, if you're a basketball fan, Isaiah Thomas is one of maybe the 20 greatest basketball players of all time to ever play the game. Right? He won a national title at Indiana in college. He won 2 NBA titles in the pros with the Detroit Pistons. He's one of the top 20 players of all time. And at the end of the game, this is the guy whose hands you wanted the ball in. Sports Illustrated even called him Mr. Clutch, right? Because he would take and make, more often than not, those end-of-game shots to win those big titles. I also want to introduce you to Vinnie Johnson. Vinnie Johnson represented symbolically here in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, also was in the NBA, so he's no slouch. He was on the Detroit Pistons, but he didn't start. He backed up Isaiah Thomas and some of the other guards. When they would get tired, he would come in the game. He was that spot filler guy for a couple minutes of action, that energy guy. The microwave was his nickname. And I want to tell you why he got the nickname, the microwave, because at the 1990 NBA Finals, Game 7, penultimate game to win the NBA title, clock's winding down, and Vinny and Isaiah are both on the floor at the same time. And it's a tie game, and somehow Vinny has the ball in his hands. It's not Isaiah. And the world's expecting Mr. Clutch to get the ball, to make the shot, to win the Detroit Pistons their second NBA title. But here's what happens, and Ben, I think you need to click this instead of me. So the clock's winding down, and Vinny's got the ball. There's Isaiah. Vinny waves him off, takes an awkward dribble, and an even more awkward shot, and he hits it, and he makes it, and Detroit wins their second NBA title. Of course, he made it. Otherwise, this would be a really poor example to bring up to start the message. But what's amazing and most intriguing to me is not that he made it, right? A lot of people make game-winning shots, but it's that Vinny took the shot to begin with, because everybody who was watching, me included, and the millions around the world watching on TV and the thousands in the arena, and probably Vinny and Isaiah's own coach were expecting Vinny to pass the ball. Isaiah's right there. He's 10 feet away. Mr. Clutch, one of the best of all time to close out a game. But Vinny didn't do that. He went against sort of an expected outcome, an expected norm, and he had to go at it himself. That takes a lot of, what one writer called irrational confidence. One sports writer labeled Vinnie Johnson as a guy with an extreme irrational confidence. So what is that? And this is my definition, not his. It's the complete absence of fear or self-doubt in one's abilities. So there was an expected outcome readily available. Pass the ball to Mr. Clutch. And Vinny said, make it or miss it. I believe that I can do this too. And he took the shot. And so he's got this irrational confidence. And I love that, not just in sports, but in life, personal life, in our business life. It applies everywhere, right? Having this irrational confidence, this absence of fear. Because if we have an absence of fear, an absence of fear of failure, an absence of fear of emotional engagement, fear of self-doubt, fear of disappointment, if you get rid of all those fears, life just becomes a heck of a lot easier, right? And it's not that this is new. We've been told this, messaged this for years and years and years, from Sobe with No Fear and that whole campaign, and Nike and the Just Do It. And these are just two, but this is a popular refrain that we've just been getting hammered over for so many years. But fear is this powerful exit ramp in life, right? And it really shouldn't be, because we enter the world with, as babies, with a no-fear mentality, an irrational confidence mentality, programmed into our baby motherboards, right? See rattle. Rattle would be good in mouth. Grab rattle. Put rattle in mouth. That's sort of how it works. But over time, with peer pressure and those that influence us, we start to get this pack mentality and have to accept these norms, these societal norms, right? And we start acting like buffalo. So we're, why are you running? Why are you running? Oh, should I be running? I think I should run. I'm running. Guys, let's start running. Follow the ass in front of you. Run, run, run. Oh, is that a cliff? Oh, right? And that's how we act. And, we start to behave like buffalo. We forget this irrational confidence that we started with, right? And we all deal with this, me included. This is my 7-year-old son last year, so this isn't me. I don't have a picture of 13-year-old baseball me like Alex did, and my story is about 13-year-old baseball me. My father was an awesome baseball player. He coached baseball at Ohio State University. He was in the Ohio State Baseball Hall of Fame, and so baseball's his thing, and he was by no means a helicopter dad, a helicopter parent, but 13-year-old me, when he pushed me into baseball, or at least made me try it, right? I had this incredible fear of disappointing Mr. Baseball, my dad, if I just didn't do it quite as well as he did. And so I couldn't get over this fear of disappointing my father, and I found myself all through middle school, whenever I was playing ball, hoping that my own team would make outs in front of me so that I didn't have to get up to the plate one more time and disappoint my dad, right? I didn't have that irrational confidence going back then, right? And it's this fear of something that overwhelms all of us. So our default human decision path looks something like this, right? There's that proposed activity, right? See rattle, analyze, rattles within grasp, and engage, put rattle in mouth, right? That's the clean path. That's the life is a heck of a lot easier path. But what happens? We put up this, wait a second, there's potential consequences, exit ramp somewhere along the line, and we end up rationalizing why we're not going to do something. And we propose an alternative path. And this alternative path gets us somewhere that ends up being nowhere close to where the initial outcome may have been. And we end up having experiences where, and we've all asked ourselves this, what if? Right? What if I made that original just choice to push forward and go for it? Instead, we end up somewhere completely different, right? There's also we just begin drinking and end up engaging, where we would have anyway. And this is where a lot of relationships and marriages start, right? And then why, we have the divorce rate we do. So there's that path as well. So just bringing forward some examples, right? I saw, this is a live picture I took last night in the bar. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't do this. Right, but there's she appears single, she's blonde, I'm single, she looks attractive, I think she winked at me, maybe I should go talk to her, but what if she rejects me and all her friends and everyone else at the bar starts laughing of me? There's that fear of embarrassment, so I don't engage and nothing happens, and maybe that was, the spouse of my dreams. What about the moment where, there's that person, we just haven't talked for a long time, and or maybe this is a loved one, and there was some sort of disagreement or fight, and apologies need to be made. There's this fear of emotional engagement that we have where we don't do it, and the outcome is, we're still sitting there on the windowsill wondering what if, right? There's situations like this in this room. So I'm working on a project, and there's an experience where I'm starting to spin my wheels, or this project is starting to run over time or over budget. And instead of maybe voicing that, right, we have a fear of disappointment from Elmore and the Lion's Hammer, and the expected outcome might be, well, if I raise my voice, I might get fired, and I'm going to end up living in the basement, of my parents' house for the rest of all time, which is what the South Park reference is in the bottom left-hand corner. And then this is one that I always have to keep in mind when I'm getting in front of clients. It's a fear that they have, and this is one that's been voiced and is real, of engaging twin technologies. Who's twin technologies? Why am I going to trust this business, this enterprise, changing dynamic and decision that needs to be made to an outfit called Twin Technologies when I could just bring in Deloitte or IBM or PwC? This is a fear of getting fired by a way of choosing an unknown that a lot of our clients really do have, and something that we have to fight to overcome. Right? So these are just some examples of those fears that are real, that each of us are dealing with. And so how do you overcome it? Wayne Gretzky had a great quote that you just have to try. And it seems simple, it sounds simple, but that's really it. You just try. Because if you don't, you're going to fail anyway. So why not try and see what the outcome could be? So I wanted to take this up a notch, leave you with something that you could take home, print out, put on the wall, and I'm going to call it the David Ladd Guide to Irrational Confidence. I'm going to trademark this. We'll make T-shirts up for next time. It's going to be awesome. So in brainstorming what this Ladd Guide to Irrational Confidence might look like, the George Jagosinski little angel on my left-hand shoulder said, well, you need a Venn diagram, right? And so I started with that, wasn't really working, and so the Steve Wytrecki devil on my right-hand shoulder said, no, you need a pyramid of power because all good things start with a solid base. Look at my calves, right? And I disregarded that as well, and I went with just a two-step, two-simple question guide to getting to an irrational confidence state. So two simple questions, and then we can get over that threshold. First question, it's an important one. Am I going to die? Right? Eventually, but with this decision, right? So the proverbial cliff doesn't count. Real cliff, it counts. If there's a real cliff and I might die because of this proposed activity, we maybe need to analyze a little bit more. But the proverbial cliff, right? That's that fear. If you're not going to die, right? Let's move to step number 2. Will I physically or emotionally hurt someone else? So if we can answer both, if we can answer no to both of these, we are ready to be that individual buffalo and to hop over the threshold and to do it right now, right? Oh, I went too fast. To do it right now, not to sit on it, not to wait, not to analyze it even more, but to do it right now, right? And so where does that get us? Well, having now just spent this time together, and you'll receive your T-shirt in the mail, you are all, at this point, certified irrational confidence individuals, right? And so what I'll leave you with is don't wait for permission to be awesome. Go out and do it now, right? And as you start to walk on water, just make sure to look behind you and that it's freezing behind your footsteps so the rest of us can follow you. Cool? Great. Thanks for listening.